Yes, sir. Right back at y'all with another sports update. Raj, we got Reid in the building. No Adrian today. Reid, what's good?
I'm back after a week. Glad to be back.
Reid's back, and now Adrian's on a hiatus. So we go ahead tag team is joining on out. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump in with the start with the Red Wings. So the Red Wings, they went out to Sweden. They went 0-2. They lost both games. They're coming back to the LCA tomorrow against New Jersey. Currently got 19 points, kind of like wedged in the middle in the standing. So where are you at with this Wings team as of right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think we could fully expect kind of where they're at. I mean, they're doing better than they were last year, obviously. Luckily, they should have probably won that game. They lost in overtime, but going to overtime, get a point in hockey. So they're lucky enough to leave with 1 point at least from that first game going into overtime, even though they lost. They had that game wrapped up against Toronto. I mean, it was 2-0 going into the third period. Toronto scores 3 goals. That's kind of been who the Lion kid was that was playing in that game. So I don't know, much about him because Reimer and Husso are the main guys. But goaltending has been a real problem for the team, it seems like. Hopefully they can kind of pick it up. I mean, I kind of expected them to be, I think they'll still make the playoffs. They've slowed down, obviously, with Larkin and DeBrincat. I really think they got to figure something out with goaltending. I don't know who's available or what they could do. Maybe see if Koso would be able to get called up from the Griffins. I think that's the ultimate goal for them. But, yeah, I mean, the goaltending is not looking good. I still have hopes for the playoffs, so I still think this team is good enough for the playoffs.
Yeah, I think this team's good enough for the playoffs as well, for sure. I don't think they're going to necessarily be such, a high seed, but they still should be able to get in. And yeah, goaltending, I think that was the one concern coming into the season that everybody was worried about was how that's going to play out. And then now it ends up being a problem. Also, I want to see Larkin step up a little more. I want to see Larkin start playing a little better. I think now that they're back stateside, you got a game against Jersey tomorrow. I expect them to win that game and start trending up. But I definitely still fully expect this team to make the playoffs, though, for sure.
Yeah, Larkin needs to start stepping up scoring-wise. I think he still only has 5 goals or something like that. I mean, he's got a lot of assists. They're clearly not leading in points. Now the bigger guys have stepped up. Your Nylanders from Toronto and your Jack Hugheses and your Connor McDavids have all kind of jumped up because they've been scoring more. So I would like to see, honestly, I know it probably won't happen because of kind of the Yzer plan as we know it by here, but I would like to see them maybe go after Nylander because I don't know if Toronto is going to be able to afford him. He's going to want a big contract, and I think the Wings, they could use him. There was talk before the season started about maybe one of them going to the big 3 that's in Toronto, whether it's Matthews, Nylander, or can't remember the third guy's name. It's escaping me right now, but yeah, I mean, I would like. I mean, if he doesn't end up signing, maybe make an offer. I know it might not, it's probably out of the realm of possibilities, but that would be sweet. He's killing it right now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so that game against New Jersey tomorrow, man, I expect them to be aggressive offensively. I want to see them get more shots on. I want to see like 40, 50 shots on goal this game, man.
Yeah.
I want to see the offense step it up and let's get this thing trending back up. I do like the global games though. Them going over to Sweden, even what the NFL does, going over to Germany and the NBA. I like these global games. I like it.
I like them trying to. I mean, obviously the sport's huge in Sweden. Sweden is, Red Wings are famous for Swedish players, as we know, Lidstrom, Holmstrom. We got a lot of Swedish Franzen. We got a lot of guys that were from Sweden back in the day. So. Yeah, I would like seeing them go over there. As I'm pretty sure there's a big fan base for the Red Wings over there too. Lucas Raymond scored 2 goals while he was there. He's from Sweden, so Mo Seider played on the Swedish team. So I think it's good too. I agree. And I would like to see them do one in like Germany or maybe not Russia, but Germany. I think would be pretty cool for them to go play a hockey game in Germany.
Right.
Something like that. Maybe switch up the country next time and see if you can get it away. Something like that. I don't know. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, because I think this was their first time doing the game in Sweden, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty sure there's more countries. There's more to come. They got the ball rolling on it. So yeah, for sure. All right. So yeah, let's switch over to college football here. College football rankings just came out. College football rankings came out. Georgia #1, Ohio State #2, Michigan #3, Washington #4. They jumped your Florida State Seminoles. Florida State moves down to 5. Why did Washington leapfrog your Florida State Seminoles like that?
I think personally what has to do is people aren't expecting Florida State to probably win another game or maybe not win another game, maybe lose one of the next two that's coming up, whether it's to Florida because they go to Gainesville or against Louisville, who they'll probably play in the ACC championship because Jordan Travis had a horrific injury. I hope everything goes well with him. I think he's going to get drafted this year. I know we talked about it. He'll probably have a little bit later in the draft now because he's going to have some recovering. Probably won't do a combine or maybe a late on a pro day, but I don't know if he'll be healthy enough by that time to around March to do anything like that. We'll see. I don't know if there's any ligament damage either. I know it was broken bone, but I would assume there's ligament damage that it looked. I think with an explosive guy like Penix going the rest of the season for Washington, I think that has something to do with it. They beat Oregon, who's a highly touted team right now. People want to talk about resumes. Florida State, I was looking it up before because I thought it was a little crazy that they did get jumped. Florida State's outscoring Michigan and Washington in points per game. They've scored more points this season than both those teams. So I don't know. I think it's just a popularity contest. You got to wait until the end of the season. Florida State wins out. Hopefully they'll be back in. We know that Ohio State's or Michigan's probably going to drop depending on what happens Saturday. And Washington or Oregon's probably going to be in come the end of the season because of the fact that they probably are going to play each other in the Pac-12 championship. So I still think it looks good for Florida State. I think that they will win out. Don't have huge faith in Tate Rademacher, but he did beat Louisville last year for us. So I think that he could. I think that Florida State could still make it in, but I do think they'll end up being a 4th seed if everything goes right.
Yeah, I think Florida State got jumped because of the Jordan Travis injury. I think if he stayed healthy, they still would have stayed at 4. Yeah. Possibly though, that was a big win by Washington going to Oregon State and getting that win. The game Oregon State was favored in that game, so that was a big win for Washington. But I think it was the Jordan Travis injury. Now I don't think they're going to kind of want to keep Florida. If Florida State wins out, then you're going to probably have to put him in there. But I think the fact that they know Travis is hurt now, they don't want to get them in the playoff. If they're possibly the 4th seed, go against the 1 seed, backup quarterback get blew out. I guess they figure for ratings for a better game, let's put Washington right there, keep them at #4, unless they slip up. So I think that's why I think it's the Jordan Travis injury that made them drop.
Hey, people forget in 2015 when Ohio State lost their starting quarterbacks and a 3rd stringer came in and they won the national championship that year with Cordell Jones, I think is who it was. Yeah, and Zeke. Yeah. So, it's not always out of the realm of possibilities that, these backups are going to be bad. I think Jordan Travis had a bigger element with the mobility. Rodemaker doesn't have the same mobility. He's more of a pocket passer, so that could hurt him a little bit. But I think that the main thing was him going down. But yeah, you talk about winning games too. Washington had a close game against USC. Obviously, Florida State had a close game against Boston College earlier in the year. So I don't know. It's all dependent on points that this AP committee gives them. I don't know how they give it to them, what goes into it. I haven't looked that much into it. So yeah, we'll see at the end of the season. I guess that's really when it all matters.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, you say you still see Jordan Travis getting drafted, still a mid-round guy. He still get drafted.
Yeah, I think he was going to probably be a late. It depends on what happens in the first round. Honestly, there's so many quarterbacks I think are available for the first round, like Caleb Williams, obviously Drake May, Bo Nix. I think has moved himself up there. Penix moved himself up there. So there's a lot of guys that were obviously going to get drafted over him. Depending on what teams really want to do, whether they have, whether it's a team like the Jets, if they want to use their first round pick on one of those highly touted guys, they could. But they have Aaron Rodgers coming back. So they need a QB, whether they want to risk a first-round pick on one of those higher-named guys. They need O-line help really badly. There's teams, the Rams, the quarterback. So, yeah, I was going to say the end of round 2 before the injury. But now I think he's probably going to be like a round 4 pick. I think he drops significantly, around 4 or 5. When you can't show a pro day or you can't show a combine, people kind of tend to lose interest. So I think it's going to end up being like a Hendon Hooker situation. I think Hendon Hooker was on a higher trajectory than Jordan Travis because he was playing great, but I think that's what the situation is.
Yeah, I agree. I think he still gets drafted in later rounds. He's probably had to sit out. He's going to be in the same situation as Hendon Hooker. Probably sit out his rookie year or two, coming to mix. So yeah, I still think Jordan Travis should get drafted. It's a lot of good situations for him because he's not going to have to come in somewhere and play right away. So yeah,
like teams I think about Rams because you obviously still have Stafford, Jets, Seattle, Pittsburgh. I'm trying to think. Minnesota, but Minnesota's probably a playoff team, so they might pick. Any one of those AFC teams, AFC South, like the Saints, or they're NFC, right? So NFC South teams, but Saints could use a guy behind Derek Carr. Jameis probably is going to go or get traded or something, I would assume. So, there's a lot of teams that could use guys. Hell, the Panthers might take a quarterback with what they see in Bryce Young so far.
Yeah, in the later rounds for sure. Shout out Bashir in the building. This hockey town. Hockey's a part of this town. Yep. Absolutely. Yes, sir. Definitely rooting for the Red Wings.
I just feel like Detroit sports are a lot better. Sorry to interrupt, but Detroit sports, I feel like for some reason, probably because the Wings are our most successful franchise, I just feel like Detroit sports are better when the Red Wings are better for some reason. Whenever the Red Wings are in playoff hockey, it's so much more fun. I think it's better for the NHL when the Red Wings are in it because I do think Red Wings fans are some of the best fans.
For sure. And we look forward to seeing the Red Wings in the playoffs this year. So, we get back to that. All right, so, let's get into our picks for this weekend's college games. So, you got Penn State at Michigan State. They're playing at Ford Field this Saturday. Penn State 20.5-point favorite in this game. So does Penn State cover?
No. So we've talked about this on and off all season with Penn State, and they still haven't shown anything since we've been talking about it. Their offense is just so stagnant. Unless they're getting a few house calls on defense, I don't know if I could take a 20-point game from Penn State. No matter how bad Michigan State is, they can find a way to sneak a touchdown here or there. I could see like a 30-14 or a 30-17 sneak game by Michigan State. I don't know if I trust this offense enough to get 20.5.
Yeah, I agree. I'm taking Michigan State to cover. Obviously, I'm taking Penn State to win, but I'm taking Michigan State to cover that 20.5. Like you said, Penn State's offense is it's very underwhelming because I think Drew Aller could be a lot better than what he's already good. He's good. He has good numbers, but I feel as though he could be a lot better. First off, he needs a solid number one receiver. I don't think he has a solid number one receiver. I don't know if Franklin calls the plays or not. I think they fired their offensive coordinator after
the Michigan loss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Michigan game. So it kind of seems like they're holding him back a little bit. Even that Ohio State game, they weren't letting him throw the ball around the field. He wasn't pushing the ball down the field. So Penn State's offense isn't. I'm not that impressed with it. They're good at running the ball, winning at the line of scrimmage, but I like Michigan State to cover this. This is the season finale for Michigan State at Ford Field. Finish the season out with some dignity. Don't go out there and just lose by 40. You're going to lose the game, but just lose pridefully.
Lose respectfully.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll be looking forward to that one on Saturday. All right, your Florida State Seminoles at Florida. Florida State only a 6.5-point favorite in this one. Does Florida State cover?
Again, I think they're a 6.5 favorite. Obviously, it's in Gainesville and Travis goes down. I think this would be more of a 10.5. I think if Travis is there, I do think they go down. I do think they win. I think Florida's going to come out. Hot. It's going to look a little dicey in the beginning. I think a little bit of time for Raij to get comfortable, but I do think Florida State ends up pulling it out. And I do think they win by 10. So I think they win by a touchdown and a field. I think it'll be like they'll be up by 7 and they'll get the ball and with a late field and seal the deal and then stop Florida. I think it's going to be a situation like that.
Yeah, I'm taking Florida State by 13 points. I think they're going to beat them by close to 2 touchdowns. I think this is going to be an emotional victory for them after losing Travis like that last week, and also them getting dropped in the rankings like that. Washington leaping over them like that. I think they want to make a statement here, and it's going to be an emotional game. I think they're going to beat Florida by 2 touchdowns. Actually, I'm going to take Florida State by 14 points in this one. So I definitely got them covering that 6.5.
I do think it'll be an emotional game and I know I've been talking bad about him all season because he's not my favorite coach they have. He's shown that he's been okay. He's been a solid coach. Whether I like his play calling or not, that's for my own personal peril. But I do think Norvell has a kind of a Dan Campbell-esque mentality with this team. I think they believe in him. I think there's kind of that grit factor with this team where they'll go out and play hard for them, play hard for the guys. And like you said, Jordan Travis going down there and want to win this game, so they're going to be hungry. I'm still taking them at the 10 because it's dicey to see Rodemaker, come out here and have his first actual start of the season, especially in the swamp in Gainesville. That's real hostile territory. But a lot of people forget. I mean, Keon Coleman's still good. Johnny Wilson's old reliable. Whether no matter how slow he is, but you also have to remember they have a really good run game too. They have 3 solid running backs. I do think they pull out the win. I think 10 points is respectable. I think it could be 14 because, like you said, emotions are running high for this team right now.
Is Rodemaker, what is he, a sophomore, a junior, or?
I believe he's a junior. I'll double check. I believe. So
if Florida State wins out and Washington wins out, and let's say they both win their conference championship games, who do you think end up who ends up getting that 4th spot?
I think it all depends. He's a redshirt junior.
Okay.
I think it all depends on. I think it honestly is going to come down to the popularity of the team, and I think Michael Penix keeps playing the way he's playing and goes to if he beats Oregon again and then goes to the Heisman race and everything and is leading the Heisman race, I do think it's going to be Washington. The resume is going to probably be a little bit more impressive than beating what's Louisville right now, 16, 17, something like that. I think they're ranked. So
I think they're a little higher than that.
Are they? I know. Well, they won their last 2, right? So, I do think they would end up getting it just over the popularity of it. And like you said, like we talked about before, I think Travis going down hurts Florida State.
Louisville's ranked 10th.
Okay, 10. I still think. I mean, a win against 6 Oregon is probably still more impressive to people than especially going against. Yeah. Going against another Heisman contender.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But it will also all come down to it's either that game or the Michigan-Ohio State game, because whoever loses that game most likely isn't going to be in.
No, probably be the Rose Bowl.
Yeah. So whoever wins that game is obviously going to be in. The other one will be out. Then Florida will probably make it in if they win out. But if Florida State loses one, Oregon and Alabama will probably jump them if Florida State loses one of these games coming up. I would think it would be Oregon, but I think also the college playoff would want to put Alabama in just for Saban to be in it again.
Yeah. All right, let's keep it going here. We got number 16 Oregon State at number 6 Oregon. Oregon's a 13.5-point favorite in that one. Who you liking there? Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Are they at Oregon State? Is Oregon traveling to Oregon State, right?
No, it's in Oregon.
Oh, it's in Oregon? Okay, then 12.5. I mean, I think Oregon's going to end up blowing
13.5.
Okay, 13.5. I still think Oregon's going to win by 2 to 3 touchdowns. I think watching Bo Nix play last week was unbelievable. He had more touchdown passes than he had incompletions. I mean, it was insane. So, Granted, they were playing the hardest of competition, but I think I do think they can go in there and they'll stop Oregon. I think they're a better team than Washington, honestly. I think Washington just got Oregon on a bad day. So I think Oregon is a better team, and they'll beat Oregon State more handily than Washington did. So, yeah, I'd take the 13.5 probably.
Yeah, yeah. Oregon at home is going to be loud there, hostile. Yeah, Oregon has one loss, but make no mistake about it. Since that loss to Washington, they've been one of the best teams in the country. You could make the argument. I mean, obviously they're not going to jump the undefeated guys, but
yeah,
you can make the argument that Oregon's the second or third best team in the country right now. So, Bo Nix is, you could say, 1-2 in the Heisman race. And, I expect them to beat Oregon State. So, yeah, I expect them to cover that 13.5 points. All right, we got the big one Saturday. Number 2, Ohio State at number 3, Michigan, and in Ann Arbor. Michigan 3.5-point favorite. Man, what's your prediction? Who you liking this one?
So I was battling this when we were texting in the group, bringing up the show sheet, and obviously I was battling it just because I know the situation that's coming into play. So give me a minute here while I talk this over. But going to the Big House is going to be tough for State. Obviously, it's always hostile environment. It's one of the loudest, biggest stadiums in the country. We all know that, so that'll be tough for them. The thing that scares me a little bit about the 3.5 is what I've seen the last 2 weeks from Michigan. They were playing a Penn State team that has a very good defense, but a stagnant offense and couldn't get out of their own way, who probably could have made the game a little bit closer than it actually was. Could have probably been a 3-score game or a 3-point game as opposed to, 7 or 9, something like that. And then when they played Maryland had 2 opportunities. Granted, they were backed up back in their own end zone. Just couldn't get anything done. This team has looked a little human as of late. I mean, obviously, maybe it has something to do with Jim Harbaugh not coaching. I mean, he's during the weeks, but he's obviously probably a better play caller and game manager and situation manager than Sharon Moore, given his experience. But I also think at the other side of the coin, Ohio State has a lot to prove, including Ryan Day after losing last year, getting all the backlash. He was born on third base or whatever Harbaugh said. This is a huge rival, one of the best in sports. So it scares me to see what's happened to Michigan the last 2 weeks. Granted, Ohio State's defense isn't amazing. I think if they stop the run, I think they'll have a better chance of winning because I think that's what Michigan is leaning mostly these last couple of games. So I'm probably going to pick Ohio State in the upset just because I think that the whole adversity in Michigan right now, they haven't looked good the last 2 weeks, just scares me to try and take them. It's at home. Maybe that obviously has a lot to do with it, but I think this offense is just going to be way too high powered for them to stop. They have an offense like Ohio State's. Granted, Ohio State's, they're not Oregon or Washington, but they still have 2 great wide receivers, a good O-line. The quarterback has kind of come into his own. So I could still see him pulling it out in the end. I don't think it'd be 3.5. I think they only win by a field goal, if anything.
So you got Ohio State winning by a field goal?
Ohio State by a field goal, I wouldn't say they cover. Well, they would cover because it'd be 3.5. So they would.
Yeah, Michigan's favorite.
Yeah.
I'm running with Michigan in this one. I do think Ohio State covers that 3.5. I'm taking Michigan by a field goal in this game. I think it's going to be a tight one. Obviously, it comes down to JJ. JJ has to play better. The Penn State game, I think he was like 7 of 8 for 60 yards, I think.
68.
Yeah, something like that. They ran the ball the whole second half. He didn't pass the ball. The Maryland game, no touchdown passes, 1 interception. They've been running the ball well, but in order to – Ohio State isn't Penn State or Maryland. They're much better than those guys. So if they want to pull this thing off, McCarthy has to have a good game throwing the football. I understand they're going to try to establish the run with Edwards and Corum, but you're not going to just run over Ohio State, hand the ball off 50 times. McCarthy's going to have to make some big throws. So I'm expecting McCarthy to play better. He knows what's at stake for this game, the Big Ten, the rivalry. He knows he hasn't been playing well these last couple of weeks. So I do expect him to play much better. It really sucks that Harbaugh's not on the sideline coaching this game. I think that would have helped Michigan a lot out as well. But yeah, I'm running with Michigan in this one, and I'm taking Michigan by a field goal. So I think Ohio State covers the 3.5, but I got Michigan winning it.
Yeah, I think you're right in the sense of JJ. Like, I mean, it's been talks since the beginning of the season. Obviously, Harbaugh said he's as good as Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. Granted, I get he's not going to say his guy is
Zach Wilson.
Yeah, exactly. He's not going to say his quarterback's horrible. So I don't fault him for saying that. I think he was ever a Heisman quarterback? No, because style of play that Michigan runs. Michigan is a run-first team. They've always been a run-first team for the last 3 years. So I think it was a little tough for him to say that. I don't think he's anywhere near Heisman votings. I don't think he'll be in New York this year because there's so many other quarterbacks that are leading their teams to big victories and playing. Like Jaden Daniels isn't going to be in the college football playoff, but he's playing unbelievable now. So it does come to what JJ can do because Ohio State's obviously going to try and plug up that run to start and not let those guys get anything going. They're just going to hope that JJ doesn't really make his throws, maybe overthrows a guy here and there. So he's got to step it up this game for sure to show that he's actually a serviceable quarterback for this team.
Absolutely, because if they take out the run, they take away Coleman and Edwards, he's gonna have no choice but to throw the ball. So yeah, I'm interested to see how JJ plays and looks this Saturday.
Is Roman Wilson healthy? I know he got hurt last game, but I didn't see what the injury was.
Yeah, I gotta check and see if he's playing this game or not, because that's a big that's very important right there. We need Roman Wilson out there for this one. So
yeah, because I know he got hurt last game. I didn't see what it was. I know he got hurt. So.
Yeah, it was that hit he took over the middle, and then he went out after that. I don't know if it was a concussion or a shoulder injury or what it was, but if Michigan's going to plan on winning this game, you definitely need him in for sure. Yeah. All right, now the over-under for that game, 45.5. You like the over to under in that?
I take the over on that. 45.5 seems a little low to me. Granted, I mean, I guess they expect Michigan to kind of brawl defensively, but the one thing that scares me about Michigan the most is I think Ohio State can establish pressure and get past that O-line because Maryland made that O-line look not like peanuts last week. I mean, Maryland's pass rush was getting towards JJ a lot. I noticed from the look that I only saw, I think the fourth, like the end of the third and the fourth quarter. So maybe they stepped on the gas a little bit, but or the end of the third quarter, start of the fourth. I was gone all day running errands, but. I mean, they made that O-line kind of look a little dicey. So, I mean, if Penn State or Ohio State can establish that, I think that they'll look pretty good. I don't know. It scared me a little bit what's going on with the team is all.
Yeah, I mean, no scheduled rain or snow or anything like that this Saturday in Ann Arbor. So it's saying 37 degrees and sunny. So shouldn't have a problem. Quarterback shouldn't have a problem passing the ball.
Good old Midwest football weather.
Absolutely.
Good old Midwest football weather.
For sure. Sure says the greatest rivalry of all time, go blue.
One of them.
Yeah, one of them for sure. All right. So who's your current Heisman front runner right now? Who do you have currently in the lead in the Heisman race as of right now?
It's got to be. As of late, it's got to be Jaden Daniels. The way he's been playing, granted it's LSU and they can do, they're just running offense at this point. So they're in shootout games. Bo Nix is a real close second. I think Penix and Caleb Williams have both dropped down. But after Jaden Daniels rushed for 2 and threw for 6 last week, I think he threw for 4 or 5 the week before. He's been playing out of his mind. So I think he's probably going to be. I think it's going to be between him and Bo Nix. And then I think Marvin Harrison should – well, we'll see against Michigan, but I think Harrison should be there. You can't send 3 quarterbacks. If you send 3 quarterbacks, the Heisman should just be wiped away as a joke trophy, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think the 4 guys now are, like you said, Daniels, Bo Nix, Harrison Jr., and I still will put Penix in there. I think those are the 4 guys I would invite right now. Those 4 guys. 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, so – yeah, we'll see how that plays out. All right, so yeah, let's switch over to the NFL. So the NFL, you got the Jags at Texans this Sunday. If the Texans, they already beat the Jags earlier in the season in Jacksonville. Texans 6-4 right now. If they pull it off, if they beat Jacksonville Sunday, they'll be in the driver's seat to win the AFC South. So man, You think the Texans can pull it off, man? How you feeling about your boy C.J. Stroud?
Man, I've been riding with him since the draft. I think he should have been the number one pick. I got to ride with him. He's showing that he is as a true franchise quarterback. The way that he's playing, he took over the game. He's taken over the last 4 games because he's had two comebacks, and then he just beat Arizona this last week. So he's really taken over the games, becoming a true game manager. It's at home. I think Texas fans are going to be fired up the way this team playing. Their chances into the playoffs after it's before 2019, I think was the last time they were in the playoffs. 4 or 5 years it's been since 2018, 2019, something like that. So yeah, I mean, I think that they have depth. Defense has stepped up for the Texans. DeMeco Ryans has been a great coach for them. It was a great hire for them, man. I mean, congratulations to him. They really risked it all with trading up for Will Anderson, getting CJ Stroud. I don't think anybody expected this from them. I think people expected maybe 6 wins out of this team. And I think, yeah, maybe not even that exactly. People probably expected them to pick in the top 5 again, which you're not seeing that. So I like them to win this game. Actually, I did a little ESPN pick'em that I do every week on the fantasy app, and I picked cover. I think they were 3.5 point underdogs, if I'm not mistaken. But I would have to double check. But I think they were underdogs even at home. So they are. I like the Texans to win this game, man. I'm telling you, CJ Stroud is unbelievable. I mean, your college roots aside, you have to give this kid props. I mean, he's second in the league in passing. His completion percentage is solid. Touchdown interception is solid. Granted, he threw 3 interceptions last game. Went 336 for 2 touchdowns. I mean, he threw a dot to Tank Dell in the end zone. Congratulations to him too for, going out and telling the Texans what to get drafted. Say, take this guy in round 4 or what to pick. I want him as my wide receiver, and they went and got Tank Dell for him. And look what he's done. He's been nothing but a superstar since they've gotten together. So, yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm happy for Stroud. I'm rooting for him. I don't discredit guys because they went to Ohio State or stuff like that. I'm not that guy. I give credit where credit's due. Even though CJ Stroud never beat Michigan his time at Ohio State, but no, he's been lighting it up. He's definitely going to be the offensive rookie of the year. And as of right now, the Jags are 1.5 point favorites. So that spread's going down.
Jumps.
Yeah, it's going down. Texans are still an underdog, but I think the Jags are favorite because they obviously they lost the last one in Jacksonville. So it's gonna be interesting to see, man. I'm rooting for the boy Stroud, man. Him, DeMeco Ryans, what they've been able to do down in Houston, like nobody seen this coming at all. I didn't think they'd have more than 3 or 4 wins. So
yeah.
So salute to them. We'll see what they do this Sunday.
I'm interested to see what they do. I'm gonna look it up after this podcast, and maybe I'll talk about it next week. But I'm interested to see how much cap space they have because they got a lot of young rookies on that defensive side of the ball. Darius Leonard Shaq Leonard just became available from the Colts. They released him. If the Texans don't want to pick him up, because you have to pay him if you pick him up off of waivers. I think it's $6.8 million this year. If he clears waivers, people are able to sign him as a free agent. If they can pick up Shaq Leonard for this last little run that they need, he's a great defensive linebacker. So I mean, there's a lot of out there for them that really drive forward in that division. Yeah,
for sure, and that's really where they're going to have to take their next step at if they really want to keep extending. It's going to have to be in free agency because they don't have a first-round pick next year. Because remember, they traded it away to move up to get Will Anderson, so they're going to have to.
Yeah, Arizona's got that one now.
Yeah, so they're going to have to attack in free agency, which I don't think it's going to be a hard sell to get people to come down there and sign and to buy in what DeMeco Ryans got going on. So. Yeah, shout out to them. We'll see what they do this Sunday.
Before we go on, Raj, hang on really quickly. This next draft, I might need to get you and Adrian. We might need to go somewhere and watch or something. I'm most excited for this next draft that I've been for anyone. Not only because multiple lines aren't going to be picking anywhere within the top 10 or 5. We know that, but seeing teams like Arizona who has young players and 2 picks, in Chicago who. I don't like that they have 2 picks, but they have 2 picks. It's a loaded draft with quarterback and offensive weapons and offensive linemen. So we're gonna have to get together and watch this one. I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah, hey, we might possibly go down there. Honestly,
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's gonna be here. I forgot about that.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
downtown. Yep.
down there. Yeah, we might have to go down there.
Yeah, for sure. So yes, sticking with Ohio State quarterbacks here, you the Bears line scare Sunday. Justin Fields came to Ford Field, ran for what was it, 104, 105 rushing yards, had the lines on the ropes. So what was your takeaways from this Lions and Bears game?
Games in college or even like my example would be, did you see the Jason Tatum clip when he said, who wants to watch us play the Charlotte Hornets on Monday night on NBA League Pass? Did you see that clip that came out?
No, I didn't see that.
He was talking.
Clowning?
Yeah, he was everybody because people were saying how he was talking about how he doesn't take games off because people come to see him. But he goes, people come to the game to watch me. So they ended up losing. It was one of the games the Lions kind of got caught napping. They're coming off a bye week. They said this is the Bears team that's been looking bad. They're not as good as they should be. And I think they got caught napping. I didn't think that they thought Justin Fields would be Justin Fields like with his rushing ability. So I think they got caught sleeping. Jared Goff played a horrible game. We all saw that. 3 interceptions, probably should have been like 5. The team just couldn't get anything going. Laporta made a few errors. Run games was still stout. I loved the run game. Looked good. 2-minute drill or 3-minute drill, technically coming back, looked great. I think that they need to step it up. Aiden needs a lot of help. I mean, he got home on that last one, and it wasn't a sack; it was a forced fumble. But he needs a lot of help on that defensive, at least the opposite side of him. Charles Harris isn't getting it done. Aquaras aren't really getting it done. We're missing James Houston badly. So my biggest scare is I don't want to run into a quarterback. We got to see what happens. Love is a little bit of a mobile quarterback. You play Josh Dobbs in a few weeks. He's a mobile quarterback. See how you play against those guys. They're not Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields level mobile, but they are mobile guys. I mean, Dobbs looked pretty unbelievably mobile the last 2 weeks he's played. But, yeah, the pass rush scares me a little bit. Got to get guys healthy. I think Bugs being out kind of hurt him. He's always a big guy for the run game. So I was scared, man. It was a roller coaster of emotions that day. My brother and I were freaking out. He told me it was the drive where they the Chicago ended in a field goal, and the Lions got the ball back before that JMO touchdown. I was like, my brother goes, you should just drive home because he lives about 30 minutes away. I said, no, I'm going to see what the Lions do on offense. Came down and scored. But I got to stay now.
Yeah,
Thankfully, the Bears are competent in play calling, so they ran, 3 run plays, and then Justin Fields overthrew his guy, came back down. I love that Monty scored that touchdown to put the dagger in him. So it was great. I mean, roller coaster of emotions. Didn't like the way it looked, but they fought through it.
Yeah, I think the Lions kind of overlooked them a little bit. Everybody's, the Lions are going to steamroll them. The Bears don't got a chance. The Lions are rolling right now. Like, everybody just overlooked. You got to think Fields had the last 3-4 games off, so he had a chance to rest up, get his body healthy. It's all these questions looming around. You see the guy, isn't he the guy? You're playing indoors. So, yeah, that's why the spread even went down at that game. I kind of figured, like, when that game was about to start, I said, I'm going to watch out for the Bears in this one. I'm not saying that they're going to win, but I think this game's going to be a little tighter than what people were predicting. And Fields being such a good athlete, a lot of the DNs, they were contained, they were disciplined running the read option like Pascal and some of the other guys. They just weren't winning one-on-one. Fields would get him one-on-one, and he was just a better athlete. He was just more shiftier. So they were disciplined as far as containment. They just were losing the one-on-one battles. So and that happens when you go against an athletic quarterback like that. So like you said, hopefully that's something that they got to get better on. Bugs would have been it'd been much better if you had him. He bats down a lot of passes as well too. But yeah, man, a mobile quarterback can cut this defense up. So if you have to go against a guy like Jalen Hurts or somebody like that in the playoffs, it could definitely possibly get ugly. Or even Dak Prescott, because you could possibly get the Cowboys in the playoffs as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I think what they got to start doing is, and I'm sure they do it because, I mean, I'm no NFL coach, obviously, but it almost feels like you need a guy like Anzalone or someone quick like Rodrigo. Granted, Rodrigo doesn't start anymore, but you need someone almost to spy those quarterbacks. So once if he does break the contain, that guy going for him. Someone that's shifty, fast, that can get there. Anzalone can get there. Rodrigo can get there. They're fast, smaller guys. Guys like Jet Campbell, I don't think would be able. They're not athletic enough. Barnes, I don't think, is even athletic enough to get to him. So, yeah, I wouldn't want. You're definitely going to go up against one of those two quarterbacks you mentioned. As of right now, it's looking like they'll probably play Minnesota in the playoffs. Granted, we've talked about Seattle's schedule. We'll see where Seattle ends up, but yeah, as of right now, they would play Minnesota. I like that option a little bit better than Seattle. Obviously, we've seen like the last 3 times they played Seattle. So, yeah, something's got to give. James Houston hopefully coming back helps. But yeah, Hutch just doesn't have enough help on that line.
No, not at all. So speaking of Justin Fields, lit that game up. It's been a lot of talk. Should they stick with him? Should they not stick with him? So you believe the Bears should stick with Justin Fields?
Yeah, I think this game proved it's an Eberflus problem, not a Justin Fields problem. I think it's a coaching issue. They should go out. Honestly, I know Michigan fans aren't going to like it, but I don't know if he's even going to be back because the NCAA is still investigating. But Harbaugh should just go there. It's a team he's familiar with, a franchise he's familiar with. You have 2 picks coming into it. One's the first overall. Another one will be probably a top 5 to top 7 pick. You can trade that first overall pick for all of King Midas's gold if you wanted to. I mean, people are going to want Caleb Williams or one of Jaden Daniels, one of those guys, one of those Heisman Trophy winners. So I think that he's a good candidate, but I do think it's a coaching problem. Fields should stay. I mean, what good is it going to do if you draft a quarterback that's Caleb Williams or one of these other guys and you stick them behind a bad offensive line? They're just going to look as bad as Justin Fields. And he's shown that he can run the ball great. I mean, I consider Justin Fields as good of a quarterback, better passing-wise, but just almost as good of a runner as Lamar Jackson. I think he's just a step under as a runner from Lamar Jackson, just a step over as a passer. But I think right scheme, he can definitely do the impact that Lamar Jackson has.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Bears should stick with Fields as well. I can't blame it all on Fields. He's an athlete. He's a guy out there. He gives it 110%. Albeit that play where he got strip sacked by Hutch, he did need to step up in the pocket there. That was his fault. But other than that, though, he played a good game. I think they should stick with him. They're going to have high picks, build around him. And we're seeing him, the last 2 Ohio State quarterbacks, they're kind of breaking that mold, saying that, Ohio State quarterbacks can't come to the NFL, do anything. Fields is looking good. Stroud's looking good. So they're kind of getting that Ohio State quarterback stigma, off of them. Shout out Trapper for Conte in the building. Bundle Gang, appreciate you. Hollywood Street Savage in the building, appreciate you. It is as for Justin Fields, we'll see how he performs remainder of the season.
Yeah, again, I mean, you do have to look at how he's going to play. Obviously, if he goes out and loses every other game, plays well, I think you can still go with him. But if he goes out and has a few more stinkers and loses every game, sure, you can have the conversation of probably trading him away and maybe getting more picks for him. But again, I think this is a lot that has to do with the coaching and not so much Justin Fields. Eberflus looks horrible. He looks horrible. He's gotten lucky with those 3 wins that he has anyway. But he's looked like such a bad coach. Bad coach.
Yeah, it's just Fields is slightly below average and sometimes teeters on being average.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at a lot of quarterbacks say. I mean, people were saying that he's a different skill set, but people were talking about Goff and look at when you get a number 1 O-line around Goff, he looks great. When you get an O-line around not Justin Herbert, who is Jalen Hurts? I mean, Jalen Hurts was talked about as being an average quarterback coming out of college, and he has one of the top 3 offensive lines behind him or in front of him, and he's looking like I mean, obviously he went to a Super Bowl. He's a superstar, so I think he is a product of his environment for the most part. I think Justin Fields is a solid quarterback. I do think, like you said, he can break that mold. I think a lot of the times he makes stupid moves because he has to. Whether pressure, like you said, he can step up on that strip sack. he probably should have. Also, I want to give Hutch his flowers on that one because he didn't go for the sack. He went for the ball, which I appreciate. That's stopping the play a lot better than it would be if he went for that sack. So, but yeah, I think Fields product of the environment. Get a line around him, he'll be all right.
Absolutely. All right, so yeah, sticking with the Lions, we got the Packers coming in this Thursday on the Thanksgiving game. Lions 7.5-point favorite in that one. Who do you like?
I think the Lions are going to have a bounce back. I think that they played the Packers before. They played them well. They played them in Lambeau too. Now they're at home. I don't trust Jordan Love as much as I mean, he's looked. I think every game that the Packers have won this year I think they've won by 20. I think they've only scored 23 points each game. I swear, every time they play, I see them, and it's 23. The score's 23-20 or something like that. But the defense seemed to stop Justin Herbert better than the Lions' defense did, which was weird to me. But I still think the Lions' offense is going to be too high powered. I think they win by 10.
10 points.
Yeah, 31-21.
31-21. Okay. Yeah, obviously, I'm running with the Lions in this one. I'm running with the Lions. I'm going to say Green Bay covers. Green Bay's playing a lot better as of late. They pulled out that win against the Chargers. Jordan Love's playing a little better. I think they got a bad taste in their mouth from the Lions going out to Lambeau, beating them on that Thursday night game. But I just think the Lions are better than the Packers, so the Lions are going to win this game. I'm going to say they beat them by 7, and the Packers cover that 7.5. That 0.5 is what saves them. I think the Lions beat them by a touchdown. I do think Goff plays a lot better this game. Was it 2-3 interceptions last game?
3
interceptions. So I'm going to say 2 touchdown passes, no interceptions from Goff this game.
I think the thing that's going to hurt Green Bay is that they don't have Aaron Jones, who I mean, they haven't had him a lot of the season, but I think when they lose him, A.J. Dillon just shows that he's not a starting running back. So they don't have Aaron Jones, and I don't trust the receiving core for the Packers. They're always so stringy and hit and miss. So that's the only reason why I think the Lions will win by 10. Lions really have to figure something out with this pass rush, though. I mean, I don't know if they're going to call up Bruce Irvin. Granted, he's 36. He's a little bit older, but, I mean, he's played in the league before. He knows what he's doing. I don't know if they'll call him for the practice squad, but got to figure something out. I mean, you could be right. It could be that just a touchdown, that 0.5 saves them.
Yeah, and the over-under on that one is 46.5. Who you like, the over to under?
I would say over because I said 31-20, so I would be over.
Yeah, I'm going over as well because, I mean, Goff has to have a bounce-back game. You got to expect him to throw at least 2 touchdown passes coming off a 3-interception performance. And you're at home, national stage, Thanksgiving, everyone's watching. I expect Goff to play well. I like the over in this one as well.
And I think the Lions want to win a Thanksgiving game for once. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't tell you the last time they won a Thanksgiving game. Probably like 2015. I don't know. I don't know when the last time they won it was. But I think they're going to want to win this one. I think you're right. I think the running backs are going to take over this game because the Packers don't have a great run defense. But I do say I have a prediction. I think J-Mo gets more. I think that last week's game was 2 weeks ago with the big blocked run, and then last week when he just scored the touchdown. I think he's going to get more involved. I think we see another J-Mo touchdown this game. Okay.
Over under on 50 receiving yards from J-Mo.
I think he'll get over because I think it's be like a bomb that's going to score. I just think that's what he is. That's what he's become. Is for now, until they get more trust in him, I think he's just going to be a big touchdown kind of guy. He's just they'll say J-Mo run a deep post, and and Goff will hopefully have it there for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to J-Mo. He helped me hit my parlay on Sunday in the last game. So shout out to J-Mo.
Listen. Did I send you mine, Raj? I had Gibbs touchdown and J-Mo touchdown, but I had under 40. Was it 47 or 46.5, something like that? And it was under 46 because the score was 23 to whatever it was. But J-Mo scored that touchdown, and I was like, well, I want the Lions to win, so they're going to score over the spread. So I ended up losing that one, and then my other one lost because I had that 5-leggering lost because Gibbs only rushed for 36 instead of 42. So,
yeah.
But yeah, J-Mo helped a lot of people.
For sure. It said the Green Bay Packers might be a bit more competitive this game. I think they will be because
I do too.
that Thursday night game was pathetic. Their offense literally couldn't get anything going. I think going into halftime, they only had like 20 positive yards in that game or something like that. So I expect them to play a lot better, especially coming off the win against the Chargers. I think Jordan Love is going to play better this game for sure. So, yeah, they're going to look a lot better. I don't think they're going to win, but they'll look a lot better. So what quarterback would you rather have right now, Jordan Love or Justin Fields?
I'd rather have Justin Fields. I still think Justin – I mean, granted, he's missed a lot of games because of injury. I still think he's a more athletic quarterback. Love seems to get weird touchdowns whenever he's playing. He's real like up and down when this touchdown passes. So I'd rather have Fields.
Yeah, I agree. I run with Fields on that one too. All right, last question here. Who's your current MVP front runner for the NFL? Your current MVP front runner?
I mean, it'd be disingenuous to not say C.J. Stroud, but obviously he's a rookie, so he's not going to win it. I don't think they'll give it to him just on the premise of that. I think it'll be interesting. I think he could be a top 3 finalist going into it by the end of the season. I think right now, I think it's got to be Hurts right now. He's on the best team in the NFL. He's running the offense well. He's leading the league in like rushing touchdowns, I believe, but I could be wrong on that. So he's close, but he just beat Cam Newton for most rushing touchdowns in 4 seasons for a quarterback. His team's the number 1 football, whether it's by him or not. He's going to look like it's the person. Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs just don't look. They're not on the same page. Josh Allen's obviously fallen off because of this team. So I can't give it to Brock Purdy. I know a lot of people probably do that, but he's J.J. McCarthy of the NFL to me. I mean, he doesn't need to throw the ball a whole lot. He played really well last game, but he hasn't done a whole lot other than that. So I'd have to say Hurts. Give
it to Hurts, okay. So no love for Lamar Jackson.
No, because again, he's another guy. He's winning because of defense. He's not winning because he's throwing the rock.
Yeah, I think Lamar Jackson's right up there. Him, Jalen Hurts. I throw Purdy in the mix. I don't think he's one of the top 2 guys, but you can make the argument that Brock Purdy's the third. Even I know Deshaun Watson got hurt. Myles Garrett possibly. He's having a phenomenal season. I don't think he's going to win it.
They just don't give it to defensive players.
Yeah, they're not gonna. But I mean, you got to throw him in the mix. You got to put him in the mix.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to say it, I would say Hurts, McCaffrey, Purdy, and if you wanted to give it to Lamar in 4th, you could. I just don't think he has the passing stats, and he's really hasn't had the rushing stats to really back what he's had in the MVP season. And granted, I'm not just hating on Lamar because I'm not a Lamar fan. I just don't think that this season he's looking he's not looking MVP Lamar. He's not looking. He's obviously not running as much as he does either because he's been hurt the last seasons because of the running. So, I mean, I'd put him. You could put him in the top 5 just because Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen are having such down years. I don't know what's going on with that Chiefs team. It's so weird. They haven't scored a second quarter touchdown since October 22nd, or a second half touchdown. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, Mahomes is doing everything he can. His receiving core is pathetic. Those guys, he got a bunch of guys. He doesn't have a true number 1. I mean, he got Travis Kelce, and that's it. That receiving core is pathetic. They should have won that game. They are dropping a lot of passes. Yeah. Valdez-Scantling, he dropped the game winner. He put it right there on his hands. You couldn't.
That one was a little tough. I mean, I won't fully put it on Mahomes, and I won't fully put it on Valdez-Scantling. But that was a tough catch to make. I mean, you obviously expect guys to make that in the NFL, but that was a really tough catch. Granted, if that's D-Hop or Devontae Adams or one of those top guys, they're probably hauling that in. If it's Tyreek Hill, he doesn't even need a. If it's Tyreek Hill, he doesn't even. He'll be under the ball. He doesn't need that. Yeah. So, I mean, I agree with you. Why they don't have my guy Rashee Rice is that getting 10 targets a game is beyond me. But he got 5 yesterday.
Yeah. So. Chiefs aren't going back to the Super Bowl. This receiving core is not good enough for them to. They could possibly win 1 playoff game, but this Chiefs team is not going back to the Super Bowl. This draft or this free agency, they're going to have to get him a number 1 receiver in there. They haven't really been able to fill that gap since Tyreek Hill left. Yes, you got the best tight end in the league in Kelce, but you still need a solid receiving core. And a lot of those guys are just guys. Valdez-Scantling, Sky Moore, Rice. They're just not it. They're just guys.
I think as of right now, your prediction's looking the best from the beginning of the season. You had Cowboys, Ravens, right?
Yeah, I went with Cowboys and Ravens. San Fran, no man, they've been looking these last couple weeks, man. Been looking pretty well. So I'm
I
definitely
think
not
they're
Fran.
I think they're my new pick to come out of the NFC. That defense has just gotten scary. Adding Chase Young was just so scary. Hey man, the Broncos too. Can't be hating on my Broncos. The Broncos,
Yeah.
well, not my Broncos, but I said at the beginning of the season I thought they'd be pretty. I don't think they're going to go to the Super Bowl, but I think they might make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, they'll definitely be in the mix. They'll be in Ford Field in a couple weeks. They'll be here, so we'll be seeing them up close in person.
I don't think they're going to beat them, but
you don't think who? The Broncos or the Lions?
I don't think the Broncos are going to beat the Lions. I think they'll lose to the Lions.
I don't
Especially against the Vikings.
I don't think Russell Wilson's ever lost to the Lions in his career.
He's played them twice. No.
Yeah, I don't think he's. We played him twice in the playoffs, right? Or no, we played him once. We played him once or twice in the playoffs. No, we played him once.
Once in the playoffs, and that was when it was. That was when he batted the ball to the back of the end. Cam Chancellor stripped Calvin Johnson, right? And then they hit him out of the.
No, that was the Monday night game. We lost
Monday
the
night game. Okay. Yeah.
The playoff game, we didn't even score an offensive touchdown that game. That was with Stafford and Ebron and those boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time he came to Ford Field with Seattle, he won too. So if he did lose to the Lions this year, that'd be his first time losing to him. So,
well, I'm predicting he's going to lose to him.
Yeah, interesting stat right there. All right, well, yeah, there it is. Anything else you want to add before we get up out of here?
No, man, I think that's it. I'm gonna be happy. I'm happy to be back. Happy to get Adrian back next week. Hopefully everything's bright as rain next week, and we'll know a lot more about the college football playoff next week. A lot more.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll be seeing we'll be post the Michigan Ohio State game, college football playoff. We're gonna get some Pistons in next week. I think Adrian has a strong rant about those guys. We're gonna
him and I.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yep, sports update Tuesdays, 8:00. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
See you Tuesday.
Peace.